Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Who is in this gospel, bro, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will, it be edifying. Getting into the favorite topic of most of you Israelites out there that like to hear the most of you Israelites out there. The topic today is Isaiah 4:1 or something along those lines. All right. Now y'all may say, well, why y'all always doing lessons on Isaiah 4:1? What about everything else? Well, you're gonna understand that the scriptures say that the Spirit is like the wind. All right, and we prophesy based on what the Spirit gives us. And the spirit in the air now is pretty much the society falling. Okay, women, single women on the internet crying of being single and having no help and all this other stuff. And I was looking at the beloved brother Umar video, going into this guy by the Canadian prepper. And he was basically going into how a lot of women are getting in the mindset of prepping for the so-called apocalypse. And and how they're getting ready because women are starting to see a change. You know, like I got a couple of videos saved up here, and Apostle Tahar did a video last week, maybe 2 days ago. It says women are beginning to understand the term concubine. Okay, because a lot of them know that they're not really marriageable. They know that they're not really compatible or able to marry, or men are not taking chances on women outside of just the act of sex, you know. So they're realizing that there's a shortage of men, and men are not wanting anything to do with them because of the attitude, the feminism. And to sum it all up in a nutshell, it's really feminism. Okay, men have gotten to the point that they just don't give a fuck no more. They're like, look, you either give me the box or I'm dipping on your ass, man, because men don't want to play them games no more. You know, I mean, it's just too much shit going on in the world, and there's too many fish in the sea to be chasing some tainted baby mama that smells like must, you know. So anyway, video here. It says, are you prepared to survive through tough times? And it's another one here. It says a welfare and food stamp situation in America as provisions are being cut due to this new administration and tariffs and, you know, the Doge and the DEI. And so there's a lot of funding that's being cut for certain programs that was catering to women. And now that the well is getting ready to run dry, they are seeking men, and they're in this prepping spirit because they see something big is coming, right? So it's funny because a homegirl of mine on Facebook, I saw a post that she posted, and I actually took a screenshot of it here. And I didn't post a name, but it says here, I hope y'all didn't spend all of y'all tax money because it's about to get scary. And then she posted, she says, stuff like this is why I'm glad I be couponing and in my coupon groups, working on my survival kits now just in case. Now, she's a woman matter of fact, she has 4 kids. Okay, Jake woman. I've known her pretty much half my life. You know, she's grown up right across the street from me. So, you know, that one of my best friends, one of my older friends, that's his child's mother, man. And we all kind of grew up together in the same circle. So I watched her grow up. And she has 4 children now. And the fathers are not present, of course, typical among our women. Because a lot of times they run the father away because they're out being whores or they're just unbearable, you know. So this is the spirit now. And women are starting to realize, like, wait a minute, man, these niggas ain't really fucking with us. So they're doing extra and going above and beyond to get men to take a second look in that direction because they're not winning right now, all right? But see, what they don't understand is that in order to land a man of the Lord in that day, because, see, it ain't just about any old man, okay? It ain't just about getting some super nigga off the street or a nigga because he, you know, walks around, think he's Kevin Samuels and have a 3-piece suit on and driving a Bentley coupe with a briefcase. That ain't no high value man right there. All right, a high value man is a man that have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Shemi Hawashai. And in order to land a man like that, you women are gonna have to totally drop the pride, man. Okay, I don't know how many times that I'll be having a conversation with people, man, and I'm just paying attention to, because I can see through people. When people say certain things, I'm like, this person's full of shit. I'm a very good judge of character in most cases, and I can see through bullshit just within talking to you. I'm like, yeah, this dude is full of shit. I can see it. So a lot of times when women are talking this shit, they want to make it seem like they on board with whatever you got going on, but they still have that pride about them, because they're still able to operate. They have their businesses, and they have that bull man mentality. Well, yeah, I can be soft and feminine, but no, bitch, either you feminine and soft or you not. All right, and we're not tolerating that alpha female spirit in them days. We ain't tolerating that shit right now. So you getting ready to learn how to, y'all getting ready to change y'all tune real soon, because the spirit of the Lord is getting ready to move upon this place. All right, so let me get a preset real quick, and then I'll play some of the video, because she was kind of breaking down into it, but we'll let the video speak for itself. I'll play a couple of minutes of it, and that'll be that. But this is the book of Isaiah 33:6. It says, "In wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure," right? Wisdom and knowledge. And it's talking about this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding first and foremost. Okay, it's not talking about prepping and all that other shit, because, be honest with you, you got preppers and then you got marauders, which are preppers, but they like to go and take other people's shit. You're going to have that, man. And they showed you that, like the new series of The Last of Us came out last night. And, it's a good series based on a video game. But it got a lot of GAY shit in there, man. Like the main character, Ellie, she's a fucking dyke, Of course, they got to throw that shit in there, and they push her being this strong-willed. She's mad basically because she's a woman, but she wants to be a man. You know what I'm saying? She wants to fight like a man. She wants to fight, man. She's killing zombies and shit. And she has that penis envy, which most of you do have. Okay, most of you women, you want to be men, even though you deny it, but you want to be men because you know that naturally men are leaders, and we stir the shit, not you. And y'all gonna find that shit out real soon, But basically in the show The Last of Us, you got a group of survivors, and they go around, and then you got to fend out for marauders, opposing cults, different militia factions that's trying to come and take your shit. And basically it's survival of the fittest, man. And that's the spirit that a lot of people are in, because they don't have the spirit of Yahweh Shemi Hawashai. Not saying that, having survival skills is bad, because that's in fact a benefactor to your shit, having survival skills and knowing certain basic necessities about gardening, knowing certain herbs. That's always all good and dandy. But if you don't know that don't mean you're going to be in a bad situation either, because everybody don't have that opportunity to prep or to know those things, man. Like me, I'm getting ready to get into gardening, getting ready to, buy some soil buckets, man, some soil, some topsoil, and start planting shit, and seeing it, watching it grow, just to get in the mindset of doing it, But anyway, it says here, wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation, and the fear of the Lord is his treasure, right? Wisdom and knowledge and understanding. And it says, behold, the valiant one should cry without. The valiant one should cry without, and the ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly, and the highways shall lie waste, and the wayfaring men ceaseth. He hath broken the covenant, and he hath despised the cities, and he regarded no men. All right, so let's look up the word wayfaring real quick. Wayfaring goes into the word like bar, which means to pass over, to cross over, to march, go beyond, pass through, pass along, to overtake, to pass on, to emigrate, leave one's territory, alienate it, pass it to hands, calls to pass through. In many ways, a pilgrim, because the scriptures say, and those evils be even as pilgrims on the earth. Okay, so that's the spirit that the Lord is going to have us in, Lord's will. All right, so anyway, let me go ahead and play a little bit of this video. This is by the Canadian prepper, and her name is Doomsday Queen, which she's a feminist, of course, but that spirit is getting ready to be chased out the earth. That whole strong, proud, independent woman. I don't need a man. I can put a nigga in a leg lock and arm bar and wrestle a man to the ground. Nah, bro. It ain't going to go down like that. At least not in most cases. So anyway, here we go.
We always believed that there could be another world war that would end up having us back on ration cards, lining up. And as we've gone through time, we're noticing more and more all these events happening, and they're stacking and stacking. Before nukes go off, I really believe that people will start shutting down grids. Why would you want to risk losing any more men? A lot of women don't realize that they're natural preppers as it is. They're 5 steps ahead. It's just trying to open up their minds to it. Nobody is going to come protect your kids. If everything collapses, that is on you. These once in a lifetime moments are happening so rapidly that people don't even realize, like, that's not good. When something actually happens, I think 90% of the population will have no idea it's about to occur. Media is very biased and it is very planned. And it's all civil unrest inside North America, while every other country is talking about preparedness on some level. If there was a true SHTF, it would be very quick.
World War III is already happening.
This is a house of cards, and it is in the process of collapsing right now.
You're going to see an economic crash, the likes of which we've never seen.
So today we're going to see how many cards we can buy on the Whatnot app for $100. Just join the single
Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. Today I have a very special guest, Charmingly Frugal, aka the Doomsday Queen.
And I'm going to say one thing, too. You know what's so funny about all this is that, I get it. It's a spirit. They putting this stuff out because, it's about the times. But a lot of this shit they do for clout and to try to boast. And basically it's like, aha, look at us and look at you. But what you don't realize is that people that watches your content, people already track your IP address. People already know where you stay. People have followed you. I mean, it's easy to find anybody in this world if you really want to. One thing you can do is take some effort, or you can pay a property. You can pay people to find people. Now they may say, well, look, we got guns, we got a fortress, we got a homestead. That's cool and dandy, but y'all putting this type of content out, you're just making yourselves target. Okay, if I had a fucking bunker and I had all types of food and stockpile, I would no way in hell put this information out here so people could know what the hell I got. You people are showing your hand, but it's all through the spirit anyway, because like I said, we're living in those times. Like it says, this chick said, I love the video. Happy you bought her on from one woman to another. I love seeing this. And he said, I bet you do. Because men are in that spirit. They like, look, men are waiting for this system to collapse so they can go out and do crazy shit, man. Okay, they're waiting for shit to hit the fan because men are tired of you women. Men won't, they want their pound of flesh and they gonna get it. Okay, it says, all the baby mamas, all the child support, all the shit that you've been putting men through over the last 60 years, man. Hey, men can't wait to the first sign of 911 to be over with. Hell, they got social media groups talking about this. So I guarantee you, when shit hits the fan, a lot of you baby mamas out here, you gonna get that visit. Trust me. You can go into hiding all you want. Hey, you will be found. I'm willing to bet my best dollar on that. So, yeah.
I've been waiting to get another fellow female prepper on the channel. It's been a while. I've been bringing on these crusty old dudes talking about the end of the world, and I figured we got to change it up a little bit. And what better way to do that than an upcoming YouTube superstar, the Doomsday Queen. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, well, we were talking beforehand. I was binge watching 1923 last night. I don't know why I turned it on. I don't watch a lot of TV, but for some reason that show hooked me. I like shows about the Old West because they simulate the apocalypse, what it actually would be. And you were telling me that you were...
Man, and bro, and look, it's in the comment board. Look, I mean, people are seeing it. It says, hope you have a man who can take care of you. This is becoming a realization now, man. Only people that's in a state of delusion is you women and a couple of you simps out there. But most of you women are still in this state of delusional, thinking that you don't need a man. You're going to need a man in that day. Like I was telling this chick that shit yesterday. I'm like, you talking all this shit, man. I'm like, but you going to need a man when this shit go down. And she couldn't deny it. She said, oh, yeah, I'm soft and not. In the back of my mind, I'm like, you talk too much. But when Jake be politicking with people, man, you just see where their mind is at. They're like, these people are through. It's the black woman. You black women, you gonna fall the hardest out of all the shit. When shit really hits the fan, you black women are gonna hit. You gonna hit the ground the hardest because you're the only one that haven't woke up to this mindset. But it says here, because a lot of men will come for you and none of them will have good intentions in mind. Fair warning, hope you have prepped for it. And the thing is, everybody knows that when a societal collapse comes, the biggest targets are women and children. It says exactly, regardless of how much martial arts you know, men are still much stronger. Okay? It says, well, you wanted equality, you got it. Welcome to the hard world. Be strong, independent woman. Shit hit the fan. Good luck with that. So, Jake, I mean, that's just what it is. Everybody knows it. The world is waking up to the fact that, yeah, you are going to be a target. And you're going to have to deal with the men of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai if you want any type of refuge in that day. So this is the book of 2nd Esdras 8:1. And it says here, and he answered me, saying, the Most High have made this world for many, but the world to come for few. Yeah, because a lot of people have gotten a consolation on this side. Even a lot of you Israelites out there. 6 wives, and you got families, you got a lot of money, you spending 40 bands a month on fucking rent and hair and nail. A lot of you got your consolation already, man. But it says, but the world to come for few, which is for the elect. And we're coming into the time now that the Lord is getting ready to give his elect the glory. Because by default, when the chips fall, by default, we're gonna be the men that stand out. We was at camp this week, Saturday, to be frank, and it was 6 of us out there. We got a brother from the Netherlands out here for a few weeks, breaking bread with us and, fellowshipping with us. And we was at the camp Saturday, a little spot that we kind of ducked off. We kind of moved under the building because, we're right by, it's a spot that we go, which gives a good amount of traffic, but the wind, it cancels out the sound. So we kind of go under this little canopy where this building is at until they open up to block out the wind, because the wind is just crazy. But anyway, it was 6 of us, and it was these females. They was of age. I'd say the youngest one probably was like 19, 20, younger women, but, they were old enough, and we was out there prophesied, and it was 6 of us, and it was 6 of them. And the whole time, the whole camp, they were literally trying to get our attention in a subtle way. I mean, they wasn't yelling out at us, but you could clearly see that, they were making eye contact with us, and they was like, damn, okay. And we was saying what we say, and they were just like, it didn't fend them off, But the Lord showed us right there, like, look, man, it's going to come a time that people going to start come up, people going to want to know, and women are going to try to cleave into your harem, And so just be mentally prepared and be ready because, things are getting ready to take a turn. So, yeah, we coming close, man. I feel the energy shifting. And it says here, and I would tell thee a similitude, Esdras, as when thou axest the earth, and it shall say unto them that it giveth much mold whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of, even so is the course of this present world. So this world is full of dirt, okay, full of unworthiness. And this is why people are making vain preparations for the end of the world. And a lot of that food that you preppers get is really going to be stored up for the men of the Lord and their families, man, because you people are going to die. Okay, ain't no amount of prepping you can do to prepare for what they call the apocalypse. Okay, which, they use the term apocalypse to go into the end of the world. But you go into the word apocalypse, it just means like hidden, which a reveal, I believe. Like certain books of the Bible, like certain Bibles that say the revelation of St. John the Divine or the apocalypse of John the Revelator. They have different terms, but it's all translated to the book of Revelation, which means to reveal. And we're in a time of, we've been in that, but now we're seeing revelations play out on a full scale. All right. The chip is coming. The society is getting ready to collapse. People on edge. People are afraid. When society breaks down, that's when true colors will be found. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to play a little bit more of this and get a couple more precepts.
For binge watching the same show last night.
Yes, I was. It's a really good show, though, because it does bring back a lot of the old time methods and how we've developed through the years.
So we woke up today and we realized that the market was crashing. Just to put it in perspective for people, this video might not be released until next week, so you have a little bit of context of where we are at today. The markets are crashing. I think oil's down like 7%, the NASDAQ down like 5%. About $2.5 trillion has been wiped off the face of the earth. And so who knows where we're going to be when this video actually releases. I just thought I'd put that out there. So if, the world has ended by then, or maybe the markets rally once again, just so you guys know, what are your thoughts on all that? Like, are you...
So I think with it, a lot of people start putting their money into untangible objects. And now they're watching that disappear because once again, a stock is just a stock. It's completely invisible. And I'm more into tangible. So I like to buy property because I know I can sell that at any point and still have the cash when I retire. And it's really sad to see everyone's 401ks, everything is plummeting and they don't really have a contingency for what's about to happen.
People have these intangible assets, if you can even call them that, artificial assets that are really grid dependent, right? And one thing I've liked about your channel is that you're coming at prepping from a person who, has maybe grew up on a homestead. And in my opinion, these people are already the ultimate preppers, right? Like farmers are the ultimate preppers for the most part. Then you have another kind of group of person who's maybe grew up in the city and they're getting interested in prepping, and both kind of converge, right here. And how we met, of course, was I did a reaction video to you talking about ReadyWise or something like that. And it was a big fiasco because everybody thought I was throwing shade on you, and that wasn't the case at all. In fact, as I just stated, like you are coming at this from having the real deal homesteading experience. So you have what every prepper ultimately wants to get to. You change your name from Charmingly Frugal.
Snap your W.
Yeah, man. And the spirit out here, man, if you ain't got your how about Shimmy how shy, you fuck. You cook. All right, you cook, and there ain't no way around it. Let's go from here to the book of, I was looking for particular precepts. I was trying to quote it in my mind. Matter of fact, Ezekiel 7 is good because this really goes into it. Ezekiel 7, and let's start at verses 11, and it says, "Violence have risen up into a rod of wickedness," and we're gonna see violence on a whole different scale. Okay, just like something that's just gonna fall upon people. It's like an evil spirit is gonna come upon people, or the demons that's in them is gonna activate. Especially when everybody done shot the J, everybody's all juiced up and medicated. Minds ain't working properly. I mean, just look at the way people drive, especially when the weather turns. Like the weather's breaking down. These holidays are coming up. It's going to be a violent summer, man, and it's already kicking off. But it says, "Violence has risen up into a rod of wickedness, and none of them should remain, nor their multitude, nor any of theirs, neither should there be dwelling for them. And the time is come, and the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn," right? So your provisions that you got is not going to get you out of a jam. Now, you may have certain things, and you may have more than the next person or the average person, but that's just going to make you a bigger target. You see? This is why, hey, if you're not with a man, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, that fucking bull dagger spirit that, I can beat a man up, that's going out the window. Okay, I don't care how much boxing, how much MMA, how much jiu-jitsu you think you know. That ain't gonna be able to do nothing when you got a pack of angry, horny, sex-deprived men marching down the street with weapons in their hand, man. The first thing you gonna do or think is to duck for cover. I don't wanna encounter that. Okay? So being independent and being a bad bitch is gonna leave you in a bad predicament. And guess what? We not coming to help you. I damn sure not help you. You know what I'm saying? And I think most brothers can attest to that. We're not in the business of saving you. If you ain't coming, if you ain't coming and you ain't molding yourself under our program, then we ain't dealing with you. I don't give a fuck how fine you are. And those of you women out there that left the men of the Lord or got put away for every reason because you couldn't deal with the doctrine that we teach regarding Isaiah 4:1, you gonna get it the worst. And the niggas that you deal with, they gonna get it. Because just because you got a man in your corner doesn't make you exempt from what's coming, because, hey, the scriptures say that the men should be like women in that day. So the men that you ducked and dipped for the men of the Lord, ducked the men of the Lord off to go dip with another man because that man wasn't catering to your lifestyle, you and the nigga you with are going to be put to death. And he may just turn on you and eat you and your kids, man. Because this is the type of world we're in. The scripture said that the love, because iniquity should abound, the love for one another should go cold. People are putting each other in the, hey, people are literally offing each other at high record rates, man. It was one story, they said that this chick, her friends threw her a baby shower just to set her up and just to beat the shit out of her and killed the baby, man. They unalived the baby based on their hatred for her. And they mentioned that as she was trying to run out of the place, her best friend locked the car door on her so she couldn't get in. So she got ambushed and beat the shit up on her baby shower, man. And they killed the baby. People that she know. That's cruelty right there. And it says, nor the seller mourn, for the wrath is upon all the multitude thereof, man. So preppers, non-preppers, men that's into this warrior type. Hey, it's getting ready to touch everybody, man. If you ain't got the spirit of the Lord, then you gonna get touched. I don't give a damn how good you are. You can be motherfucking, what's this guy's name? What's a good fighter? I'm trying to think off the top of my mind, man. You could be John Jones, goddammit. At the end of the day, the Lord ain't with you. You gonna get got. And it says, for the seller should not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. Yeah. You know, because, hey, you got a big thing in business now, especially among the women. Oh, well, you know, I got my own business. I do this and that. And women pride themselves of opening up businesses and being able to make their own money. And somehow, some way, they think that give them leverage over men. But you don't understand the title of a man itself comes with power because what we represent. Okay, people like to judge you based on your accomplishments and what you've done in life. Just off the strength of me being a man, that gives me the authority over any woman on the planet Earth. I don't give a shit if you were the first lady. I'm a man. By default, I have authority over you. Give a damn about your accomplishments, man. That shit getting ready to go out the window. And it says, yet they were that alive, for the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which should not return, neither shall any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life. Okay? So yeah, man, it's gonna get real bad real soon. All right. Let's go from here to second address 16. And let's start at verses. We're gonna get to the point. Let's start at verses 21. It says, behold, victuals should be so good, cheap upon earth, that they should think themselves to be in good case. Because, you know, a lot of times you have a collapse when the market's offset, things that get, you know, crazy expensive, then they kind of deflate, then they get cheaper. And then to the point that things will bounce back, and then all of a sudden prices will shoot up, man. And layoffs come. People start losing mortgage. Like they're talking about people defaulting on their mortgages at an all-time high, man. Fucking people are living off credit card debt. And a lot of it is women because they don't have husbands, man. Okay, men don't want to deal with them no more based on the feminism. Feminism alone has destroyed families. And this is what has gotten us to this day, to the point that men and women have an estranged relationship and they don't want nothing to do with each other. And the women, they're not known for being accountable. So that keeps the man away, because the only thing most men want to hear from women is that, you know, they want them to hold some type of accountability, to show some type of remorse for their actions and take ownership of the problem they've caused, man. And humble down and be women and be submissive. And you'd be surprised on how men are deal. You know? But it says here, behold, victuals should be so good, cheap upon earth, that they should think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And famine is a big one. And like we always say, in Lord's will, my next video will be on a famine. But like we always say, when famine comes, that's when people start to lose their shit. Because we know that the Americans thrive off food, bread, circuses. Okay, once bread and circuses are put and come to a halt, that's when you're gonna see these people act out of character. When they can't go to the banks and swipe their debit cards and get the money out the ATM, and when they realize that those grocery stores are being looted, there's no food left. That's when reality is gonna set in, and that's when something gonna click. Like, oh shit, I gotta go take what I want now. And it's coming, man. People just gonna be running up in spots. If you ain't got that covering, then you just gonna be a spoil. And it says here, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And this is why you have preppers, because they're prepping for the famine. Because ultimately, they know that a manufactured food shortage is coming to America, man. And it says here, and the dead should be cast out as dung. So just imagine a stench out here. I mean, one dead body you can smell down the street. Just imagine you got hundreds of thousands of dead bodies laid out in these cities. This city is gonna have it's gonna have a stench to it beyond belief. Like the scripture said, that death has come up into our windows. Hey, you're gonna be able to smell death all around you. And that's gonna attract a lot of animals, which in retrospect, that will bring in more pestilence, diseases, because when bodies rot and all the shit that people put in their bodies and the poisons and the drugs and the food, that's how pestilence is gonna spread. And then you're gonna have animals in the wild, hyenas. And we know hyenas hunt in packs, man. So we getting ready to see a total breakdown of this place, man. And it's gonna be wild. And it says, and the dead should be cast out as dung, and there should no man be left to comfort them. It says, for the earth should be wasted, and the city should be casted down. Yeah. Meaning bridges are gonna be blown. Freaking crabgrass is gonna be tall as light poles, man. You know, it's just gonna be like I Am Legend. And it says, and there should be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. Yeah, your public works. Forget about it. Ain't nobody gonna be coming to work when shit hitting the fan out here. And it says, and the trees should give fruit, and who should gather them? And it says the grapes should ripen, and who should tread them? It says, for all places should be desolate of men, right? Because you're gonna have civil war. And then the people that don't die in the civil war, the other half are gonna be locked up in these concentration camps. And it says here, so that one man should desire to see another and to hear his voice. So yeah, it's literally echo. Like you go downtown KC or Chicago in that day, I mean, you could literally talk and your voice will echo through the buildings, because ain't nobody gonna be down there. You know? And it says here, for of a city should be 10 left, and of 2 in the field, and shall hide themselves in the thick groves and the clefts of the rocks. But as an orchard of olives upon every tree, there are 3 or 4 olives, or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyards. Even so in those days, there should be 3 or 4 left by them that should search their houses with a sword. Going back into The Last of Us, because on that video game, basically what you're going around and you're looking for things of survival, from weapons to, food to necessities to heal yourself. And ultimately, you stand out of the way of different preppers or marauders, and also you're trying to evade zombies too. You know, so basically the game deals with stealth, being out of sight, and by the element of surprise. And that's how it's going to be out here, man. Okay, you may run in somebody's backyard, and hey, you may run into a fucking bear trap. And then you get caught, then what? Okay, it's going to get real, real grimy. And it says, and the earth should be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man should travel there through. I Am Legend scripture. It says, and the virgins should mourn, having no bridegrooms, and the women should mourn, having no husbands, because these simps, these beta males out here, they're going to die in the civil war. And those that don't die in the civil war, they're going to get drafted off to the east to fight this third world war, which they're going to be destroyed over there, because now you're going to have to meet Yahushai. All right, and you Jakes that's in the military, hey, you're going to be destroyed, man, because you're not supposed to make a covenant with the heathen. So it says the virgin should mourn, which the word virgin goes into a young marriageable woman. Okay, a virgin can mean a woman that's not touched, or a young marriageable woman, meaning that she's at the age of intercourse. Now she can bear children. Having no bridegrooms, and the women should mourn, having no husbands, and their daughters should mourn, having no helpers. And we're seeing this now. Okay, this is all you see. Like when you go on Destro, my man Destro, you know, he do the little robotic AI voice, and he be mocking their ass, man. You know, talking about finger foods, and he goes into the whole concept of finger foods and 304s and them being overweight. Yo, these women are desperate, bro. Like, I mean, like I said, like, chick hit me up yesterday, and she was talking that shit, man. She said like maybe 2 words, and then she just slid me the number, though. She's like, here, take the number. She said, I ain't trying to be all pushy. And, you know, and I'm like, man, hold on, let me check this bitch's background. You never know who the hell you dealing with. You just don't know. You know what I'm saying? And then I checked this shit. I was legit. But even then, you know, people have nefarious purposes. I'm asking myself, like, what's the red flag? You know, because she asking me, like, is there any red flags? I'm like, bitch, I'm asking you, is it a red flag? You old enough and you ain't got no kids and you ain't married and you not bad looking and you appear to be on your shit. I'm like, yeah, it's a red flag. So I was, you know, kind of talking to her, just talking shit to her. And you could see the pride and all this other shit. And I'm like, bitches just don't know how to shut the fuck up and allow themselves to be women. But a lot of that shit is a facade because they think and they've been misled to believe that men like all that aggressive and assertive shit from women. Like, we want women to be assertive in the ways of being submissive, being assertive in that way. We don't give a fuck about your accomplishments, man. And it's what you bitches don't understand. We don't give a shit about how much money you think you can make. We don't care about that. Okay, that don't get me off in the fucking bed. Oh, you got 100. I don't care about that shit, man. I care about whether you can shut the fuck up, whether you can do what you got to do, whether you can clean the crib, whether you can submit, be soft, and be a comforter to me. That's what the hell that's my concern. I don't care about all that other shit because all that other shit you talk is a turnoff, man. You know, I got a business and this and that. I don't give a fuck about. I don't want to hear that shit, man. I care about you women having businesses. Your business is supposed to be to your husband. And when you get that mindset, then we can talk, you know, turkey for real. But other than that, outside of that, anything else is just concubine material. And brothers, you keep it at that, man. All right? Don't be trying to get these women to act right and all this shit. You pay attention to what they're coming, how they're coming. You throw the bait out there, and if they can't bite on to the fucking fish hook, then you already know where she stands with you. Pop the bitch or don't pop her and keep it pushing, man. You know, period. That's all they work for anyway. One thing is you are up in age and you ain't got no children, which I ain't knocking you for not having kids. Because me personally, I don't take women that got kids serious. I'm just be real with you. And ain't no shade against, you know, you sisters out there that might have kids because that comes with the territory. But if I'm going to take you somewhat serious, you got to be a hell of a fucking woman for me to say, all right, yeah, I can deal with you on some somewhat real shit. But even then, keeping my distance because I don't want to have to interfere and come into that child's life and then the father is there. That's just a whole ball of confusion. And I don't have that problem. That stepfather shit don't work. You know, it don't work and it never worked. And honestly speaking, I never really cared for it. You know, I was in a situation for years, and little girl grew up under me, took fun to the little girl, you know, had a decent relationship. But now I don't even hear nothing from her no more. You know what I'm saying? All that shit you put in 7, 8 years and spending money and spending time going on vacations with this motherfucker. And after you and the mother break up, the kid don't even know you no more. So why the fuck would I waste my time on that? I ain't the father, you know, and that's just real talk. So no, we don't play that shit. You gotta be, like I said, you gotta be a hell of a woman for me to even want to even deal with your kids somewhat. And even then, I'm not even dealing with your kids. I'm cordial. Hey, how you doing? What's up? Keep it pushing. No, you can't stay in my crib. Nah, none of that. So anyway, it says, and in the war should the bridegrooms be destroyed and their husbands shall perish of famine. Okay, so this is the time we in. It's going to get real bad real quick. So let's listen to a little bit more. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to Apostle Tahara's video and listen to what he got to say. Because I caught it briefly, but I couldn't really get into it. There was too much shit going on. But let me listen to what he said, and we'll get a couple more precepts, and that'll be that. Salakia for the long lesson, but here we go.
Giving all praise to Yahweh, Shem Yahshua, Shem Makakodah, Shalom to the 144,000 rest of you elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm going to make this super quick. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, Women Are Beginning to Understand the Word Concubine. So I was watching Destro Reborn, which I subscribe to him, as you can see. I get his notifications, and you should subscribe to him too. Side chick culture backfired. No one's wifing them up, and they're panicking. See, this culture of side chick, side dude thing, they don't want to do this no more. It's played out. They want to be wives now. They want to cook. They want to have children. They want to guide the house. And men are tired of this playing games with women. So you like when they have these what you call them, speed dating sessions where you have a club and you have invite, you expect so many men, so many women.
They ain't showing
Lately,
up.
you've been watching these types of videos. It'll be maybe like 400, 350 women, and it might be 3 or 4 men, because men ain't interested. They ain't playing the game. They want to hit it and hit it and quit it type of thing. So it's coming back around. It's circling. What goes around comes around. Women now want to be, they want to have babies. They want to get married. They want to.
They want to bring baggage to the table. They want to bring 3 kids in your life, man. Like, hell nah. Like, bitch, where the fuck were you at when you was a virgin or before you had children? Now you want to come your funky ass in my life, man. Hell no. We don't want no leftovers here. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, men just popping you and they keep it pushing. And that's just what it boils down to, man. And certain men are just not even dealing with women altogether, which, honestly speaking, I commend that spirit. That if you can go cold turkey and become a eunuch and not deal with a woman, hey, you'll save yourself a lot of problems, a lot of problems, man. But every man ain't got that spirit. It just certain men, they just don't have that spirit, which is okay. But I looked up the definition of concubine. It says, in a polygamous society is a woman who lives with the man but has lower status than his wife or wives, okay? A mistress, concubine. And most of the women in this society is concubine material, because technically they can't be wives, because when you go into the word sex, which means to cut, when you cut into the hymen of a woman's and you take her virginity, the tokens of her virginity, which is the blood, you show it to the father, then that consummate the marriage through sex. Now you just have sexual intercourse, but you're having intercourse, not sex, because the hymen has already been broken. Henceforth, she's already the wife of another man. So technically, every time you lay down with a woman, if she's not a virgin, then you're committing adultery. So technically, these women could never be our wives, man. They're concubines, man. Like when you go into the 4 women that come through Israel, you got Leah, Rachel, Zillah, and Bilhah, right? Okay, and you got the 4 women that birthed the nation of Israel, because I think Rachel, she was barren for a period of time, and Leah brought forth all the kids, which the desired one was actually Rachel, because, you speculate she looked a little better. I assume both of them look good, but, Jacob took more of a liking to Rachel, because that was the one that he originally worked for Laban for until he was supplanted, and Jake supplanted his ass right back. It's a funny story. But regardless of it, when, like, same thing with Abraham, when Sarah couldn't conceive, and then what happened, and same thing with Jacob. When Rachel couldn't conceive, then what happened? She was giving him the maidservant. Well, here, go into her and raise up child unto me, So concubines, man, which we're going to have concubines in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, we're going to have a lot of concubines. You know why? Because we're going to have time to do things that we enjoy. We're going to have time to deal with all our women. Okay, we're going to see our children. We're going to have time to live. We got an eternity to do this shit, brother. So it ain't no, here you're pressed for time. You work up, you got to get up, go to work, this and this and that. But in the kingdom, we're going to operate outside of time. That's why to us, time won't exist, because we're going to be of the Lord's immortality. But for the heathen nations, they will be on a time frame, because they're going to still be within the realms of morality or mortality. This is why they're going to die and go back to the spirit world and be reincarnated back into the earth every 3 or 4 generations, because they're not going to be immortal. Okay, they're still going to be functioning human beings, while we're going to be superhuman, so to speak. But anyway, let's go here, Isaiah 4, and I want to get one more precept, then I end it. Because people, like we said, people are going to trust in their sword. And King David said that neither will his... Matter of fact, let's look this up real quick. It's Psalms, what's it, 35? Delivered strength. Yep, Psalms 33. And And I'm going to start at verse 16. It says, there is no king saved by the multitude of a host, and a mighty man is not delivered by much strength. It says, and a horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. But behold, the eye of the Lord is upon all them that fear him, and upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. And that's going to be the elect, man, because they're doing all these things to avoid the famine, to avoid dying, to avoid being looted and robbed and pillaged. But they're not going to avoid that fate because the Spirit of the Lord is not with them. All right, it says, for our heart should rejoice in him because we have trusted in his holy name. So let thy mercy, O Yahweh, be upon us according as we hope in thee. So we're going to keep our hope in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, we're not going to trust in no damn guns. We're not going to trust in ourselves. We're not going to trust in our physical skills, our martial arts, our jiu-jitsu, our boxing, our MMA. We ain't going to trust in none of that shit, man. Because ultimately, man, that shit is good to know. But at the end of the day, we just read, you ain't going to be delivered by your strength, man. Because it ain't about that. Isaiah 32:2, it says, and a man should be a hiding place from the wind, as a covert from the tempest, as rivers of waters in a dry place, as a shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And the eyes of them that see should not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall hearken. All right, so it's going to come a time that our words are going to start to resonate with people, and they're going to fall in line with it, man. Because it tells us in Psalms 110, that in the day of thy power, thy people shall be willing. So certain men are going to get spiritual powers and abilities to do things, you know, and that's going to sell a lot of people's thoughts like, oh shit, these are the men of the Lord. And you're going to have to distinguish between who's right and who's not. Because just off the strength of that, you're just going to have random niggas and women with their children trying to be up under you, and you're going to have to stand firm and be like, look, nah, y'all can't come. And if they buck up against it, then hey, you got the power to do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think you want to truffle with a man of the Lord in that day, because I believe that we getting ready to get an enhancement, man. I feel it. You know, I feel the strongest I've ever been. And, you know, I'm older than, you know, of course I'm older now, you know, but I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life right now, you know. And that's not by coincidence, because the Lord has us locked in a mindset, you know, getting the body together, eating properly, you know, making sure you get your daily intake of your herbs, and, you know, make sure that you walk in, you getting your steps in, you know, taking this shit serious, bro, for real, you know, and because we didn't shoot the J, you know, so that plays a big role in it in itself. We didn't shoot the J. Now, of course, you know, we gonna have infirmities and stuff like that, but we learn to bear through that shit, man. But I'm in the best shape I've ever been in life. You know, and, you know, I've always thought I was in pretty good shape. But when I look at myself now compared to then, I'm like, damn, dang, shit, I ain't had shit on me compared to now. I'm like, okay, you know, trying to keep the fat off, you know, trying to keep the waist thin and shit like that, man. It's a mindset. And people are trying to tap into that. But it says, in the eyes that see, it says, in the eyes of them that see should not be them, and the ears of them that shall hear shall hearken. And the heart also of the rash shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammerer shall be ready to speak plainly. And the vile person should be no more called liberal, nor the true to be bountiful, man. Okay? So, yeah, it's getting ready to take a turn. We're getting ready to hit another glory. But it's not going to come without its problems, because, hey, we have to go into the time of persecution, Jacob's trouble, you know, being on the run, however the Lord decides to do it, when he gives us the power, or he may camp us out and hide, and we may find a bunker. Who knows how the Lord is going to do it? Okay, we don't know how he's going to do it. We don't know exactly how he's going to play out to our favor, but we just believe that the Most High got us and is already set up in the spirit. Okay, last precept, Isaiah 4:1, it says, in that day, 7 women should take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel, but only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Okay, and that's just what it comes with. They ain't gonna care about how much money you got. They're not gonna care about if your beard is patchy. They're not gonna care about all that shit. Okay, they're gonna see that the spirit is on you, and they gonna want to come up under you, period, because they gonna see that you have the answers and that the spirit is working with you. This is why we tell you brothers to be patient, man. Be patient, stay the course, and overall, man, women shouldn't be your main priority. Okay, your main priority should be the truth. like they always say, when you don't focus on something, then that's usually when it comes gunning from you. You know, that's when it comes gunning for you. Like right now, my primary focus ain't no damn women. They come, they come. They don't, so be it. You know, we just focus, we locked in, and we're just waiting the days down until the Lord collapses this place, because like I say, any day now. But with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord, is where you were edified. Until the next lesson. Shalom.